The dust has settled on the last of the provincial shootouts. Kildare died with their boots on, Dunne left the saloon bar through the front window. This weekend they both begin the afterlife.
Once again, I find myself with my friends. Dance till the night away, it's like the party never ends. Then again, we don't want it to stop, cause tonight's the night. It goes sweatbox, laser beam, flashing lights, wild cards.
Larry Murphy with a catch, with a puck, with a point.
Before Larry Murphy came on, Wexford didn't have a light. Then they had fireworks.
This is a down to Larry Murphy, out by the sideline, and that is over the bar. What a performance! They have a new hero.
Dance all night to this DJ. I should dance all night to this DJ.
A few years after Owen Mulligan left Peter Canavan's classroom, the education continues. Mulligan will ask questions of any defence in the country. Canavan, though, is still the guy with all the answers.
Great point. Again to Owen Mulligan. He's been out in front of Alan Molloy every single time. Just as Canavan has been with Martin Cole, Canavan has scored 7. Sorry, make that 8.
Now the record always spins on the trails we blaze. The walls are closing in, but that's okay, cause I've been waiting all week to feel.
In Croke Park last Sunday, 57 years of sand passed to the bottom of the hourglass. Laois were out of the desert.
It's Ross Mulloy! It's all over, and Laois are the champions! A fantastic day out for the fans of Laois and Kildare, and how Laois will enjoy going back through Kildare tonight. Laois have regained the Ulster Championship.
In a game of such high speed and intense physical contact, there will always be accidents. Cuts, breaks, bruises and knocks. But there has never been more protection available, so why do so many hurlers continue to put their eyes at risk? Last weekend, Waterford's John Milan was substituted with double vision and suspected damage to his cornea. Tests during the week allayed his worst fears, and he'll be back hurling within a month. Many others haven't been so lucky. Dr. Stephen Beattie of Waterford Regional Hospital has seen enough and is leading the outcry.
Cork University Hospital and Waterford Regional Hospital collaborated on a study to make an estimate of the actual numbers of eye injuries. So we looked at the period between 1995 and 2000. And in that period, there were 308 eye injuries as a direct result of hurling. Of those, 5 eyes went permanently and irreversibly blind, and a further 11 have profoundly reduced vision.
I was playing for my local GAA club in our 21 hurling championship match, and there's about 10 minutes left in the game, and I was standing on the goalpost, and the free was taken, and the ball was deflected off some guy's hurling into my eye, and the damage was done there and then. I've peripheral vision, I've no central vision, so that was the limit of my damage to my right eye.
Not a week goes by in Waterford Regional Hospital where we don't have to deal with a hurling eye injury, and some of these eye injuries are horrendous. 50% of the injuries are caused by the slither and 50% are caused by the come on.
I was playing a junior league match for my club, and as I was coming in behind my opponent to hook him, he swung the hurl. As he was swinging the hurl back, he caught me in the face with his hurl. This resulted in me breaking my nose, chipping a bone in my cheek, and then eventually losing the eye.
All of the players who come here with hurling eye injuries, in general, they are shocked at the severity of the injuries, and they aren't expecting to hear that there is no chance of visual recovery.
Since the accident, I had to give up my career as a carpenter. Also, my hurling career was gone. Like, I still come around and poke a ball around on my own, or come over here and like mess around with the ball, but it's not the same as being out there with, like, say, 30 of your friends, or just the adrenaline that goes through you before a game. Like, it is something that, it's something that I'll never feel. It's gone for the rest of my life. When I came out of the hospital first, my vision was all off, coordination was all off. When I was picking up a sliotar, what was happening was I was coming to the left side of the sliotar. Usually, when you go down, you go up, and that's where I thought it was, and this where the sliotar was. Because everything is going onto your left side, and you're thinking it's that couple of inches off.
As a goalkeeper, my favourite position would be midfield if I could ever play there, but I'm getting a bit old now and slowing down a bit.
I've always worn a helmet.
you know, without the face guard up to about 5 years ago, but I got a belt just under the eye and I lost my sight for 2 weeks, and that's fairly traumatic in itself. I'm wearing it about 4 or 5 years, a guard, but I've had to replace it 3 times and probably will be on my 4th time just coming now. So that'll tell you the amount of clatters it's taken, or you're taking on the face, or potentially taking on the face.
The tragedy of these injuries rests on the fact that they're entirely preventable if players wear protective headgear and eyewear. My colleagues and I are sick of breaking the bad news to parents of people who have become irreversibly blind as a result of a hurling eye injury, or to the patients themselves. It is devastating.
I have a 9-year-old brother at the moment, and I'd hate to see in 10 years' time that the choice was still with him to either wear a helmet or not. And if he was in a game and playing bad and he threw a helmet to the sideline, and for the same thing to happen to him or any other 9-year-old, 10-year-old, that they were to lose an eye the same way as I have.
It should be made compulsory. I think you should wear a helmet. I mean, there's protection there. I wear a helmet, I wear a glove, I wear shin guards. Those are protections that are there. They'll save you. Without any shadow of doubt, they'll save you. And plus the fact that they make you feel much more confident on the field. If you're not taking a belt and don't feel you're going to take a belt in the face, you feel much more confident.
I know from talking to other doctors in Waterford Regional Hospital that they tell me lads coming in here have lost all their sight in their eye. You know, they have no sight at all. And thank God I'm one of the lucky ones, you know.
There is only one reason why players don't wear protective eyewear: because they don't have to.
Wear a helmet! 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 Wear a helmet!
Bearing 1490. Helmet command, elevation 400. 2 rounds fire per effect. Come on, fire!
As Kildare and Roscommon reload for the final round of the qualifiers, we meet a soldier in no man's land, torn between his home and his home place.
Well, we are here in McKee Barracks on the edge of the Phoenix Park in Dublin. McKee Barracks houses the 5th Infantry Battalion, the 2nd Artillery Regiment, McKee Barracks Company, and the 7th Artillery Regiment of the Reserve. One of the stories about McKee is that the barracks was built by the British, and they mixed up the plans, sending the plans for McKee to India and the Indian plans to Ireland, hence the turrets behind me on the buildings. My son Dermot is stationed here. He's a platoon commander with the 5th Infantry Battalion. Well, it gives you terrific satisfaction. The whole family are so proud of the way he plays and the level of skill that he has and athleticism that he has. I suppose the biggest memory would be winning 4 in a row at the end of the 70s and playing in the All-Ireland final in 1980 and winning a National League in 1979. I think that was the most productive period of my football career. I think it's inevitable that most counties will have a down period after a successful effort. With a population of 50,000 people in Roscommon, it's hard to keep the momentum going all the time. Roscommon had won a couple of Connacht championships and they were on the up. But then when I took over, I think that team was on the down and we were building again for the future. Well, I think that there was dissatisfaction really that progress wasn't being made as fast as it should have been made, and the defeat to Leitrim was a factor, although Leitrim went on and won the Connacht Championship and played in the All-Ireland semi-final that year. So I felt that in the best interest of Roscommon football, it was good for me to bow out at that time. When I joined the Defence Forces in 1965, I came to the Corps as a cadet and spent the rest of the beginning of my military career there. When I got married, we lived in Newbridge, and so my involvement in Kildare has been since I was 17. We were going through a transition phase again. There were new players coming in, which helped later on, I think, to bring success to Kildare. So all of that was a challenge in its own right, and I look forward to that very much. You would take personal satisfaction from a number of things that happened, a number of players that came in, a number of improvements that you made in terms of the football skill or coaching methods that you introduced to bring on players, and that gave you certainly personal satisfaction. But overall, unless you win a championship, you're not successful. I think that most military people will recognise that discipline is a huge part of any effort, sport-wise or professional-wise, and I think that Tommy Carr would certainly bring that. Tommy is a good coach, a good manager, and has organised well. It doesn't happen instantly, But with the little run that he's got now and the opportunity through the backdoor system, I think his work is showing good results. You're in a win-win situation. No matter who wins, I can say I'm on that side. I would love to see Roscommon football go from strength to strength, and that they would arrive at Croke Park and play a number of games there. But at the same time, your adopted county, I've been there since 1965. I've been involved in so much that has happened in Kildare, and particularly with the Sarsfields Club. There's a huge family involvement in Kildare, so therefore you would like to see Kildare do as well. Where did it go wrong? I think that the body blows that Kildare took during the course of the game, the early 100 miles an hour start by Laois, the sending off of Alan Barry, the goal just after half-time, the second goal, the third sending off in the game, and the hitting of the post by Patrick Murray were all unlucky things that happened. Putting it right is a huge mental thing. I think that 6 days is an awful lot to ask of players to recover and be prepared to play a huge match again next Saturday evening.
What a dramatic game!
Maybe if Roscommon do win, and I wear a Roscommon jersey out to Sarsfields on Saturday evening or Sunday morning, I'll be very welcome. Should Kildare do the business, well then the white jersey will be in the back of the cab.
In his short inter-county career, Benny Dunne has covered more ground than Marco Polo. He finished last year's Munster Championship with 2-2 against Waterford and started this year's Munster Championship at cornerback. Now he's at centre field. It's just a suggestion. They won't hold him to it.
I suppose growing up along hurling has been my life. You know, I mean, I have 4 older brothers, and the 4 of them play on the local team, the Tunavara club. So I mean, hurling has become part of my life since we were 11 or 12. It was always a dream also to play for Tipperary growing up, and luckily enough it came true last year. My first game for Tipperary, I suppose, was Offaly down in Burr, the first round of the National League. I remember I got a late call up. I think we were pucking around in Ross Gray hurling field beforehand, and Nicky just came up to me. I think we had an injury at the time, and called me to play. I think it was right half forward. The game itself, I remember it started, I think it was marking Joe Brady from Offaly, and I started fairly well. I think the ball broke down between two of us and I won with the first ball, so that gave me a bit of confidence straight away. Soon after that I got, I think, 2 points in the game itself. So
Back once again here with Benny Dunne. They need a score, and Tipperary have been given one.
Right through the National League I've been playing, I suppose, left cornerback. I think cornerback is a specialised position. Not sure if I'm fully suited to cornerback. You need to be, I think, a tight marker for starters. You need to be able to mark a man really closely and follow him wherever he goes. Not sure if that's my own game, but I mean, getting on the first 15 is priority, and you'll play anywhere, you know. And against Galway last, I played midfield.
Beautifully inside to Benny Dunne. Dunne striking a goal. You won't see better than that. Benny Dunne has come right through.
I think I'm more of a loose ball player. I mean, I like to work around the fringes of the game and picking up balls and maybe a couple of scores at the same time. I mean, I think that's my strong point, because I'm not physically big. My brother Tommy's been a big influence. I mean, growing up along was always, Tommy was on the senior team, and I was a supporter, and we'd always go to see him, you know, and he was great, you know. I mean, he's 3 All-Stars and Player of the Year in 2001. So I mean, he's been a big influence on myself. He was a big help to me when I came in on the Tipperary team last year. He'd always have words of advice to you. To me, he's just a natural sticks man, you know. I mean, he's great off either side, and he's a great score taker as well. So
simply no stopping him when he's in that kind of form.
Going into the Clare game this year in the first round of the championship, I think we were mentally and physically drained from the Kilkenny League final 2 weeks beforehand. I don't think we were prepared fully going into that game, and I think Clare caught us on the hop really that day. But we have picked up since then, and we came through Laois in Port Laois and Galway last day, and it's Offaly now next, so it means tunnel vision from there on in, you know. We played Offaly in the early stage in the National League down in Nina, and we gave them probably a fair right old hiding, but I'm sure they'll be looking for revenge for that victory down in Nina, you know.
If you were in Croke Park on some of the biggest football days this summer, you'll have seen 30 young lads wearing odd socks, kicking goals for a point and using their good leg for standing. Maybe you had to see it. Anyway, lucky we're here to tell you about it.
I've been dreaming of the things I learned about a boy who's bleeding. Celebrate.
I'm really excited because it's Leinster final day, and I think there's going to be a big crowd there, so I'm looking forward to it.
The other foot was the game was devised by Noel McCaffrey. I'm manager in Mark's team, the under-10 team for Temple Oak Sing Street. And Noel gave me a call one evening just saying that he was starting a tournament of 4 teams, experimenting on these new rules. So we gladly participated. We played along with Kilmacud, St Vincent's and Clontarf. A very successful tournament. Word got out about it, and here we are today playing in Croke Park.
It's an idea that began when some quite interesting changes were implemented in juvenile football structures at under-9 level in Dublin, whereby we attempted to encourage the performance of skills, such as blocking and catching, by awarding a score for these skills. And also, we encouraged kicking points as opposed to goal to this age group by giving 2 points for a point and 1 point for a goal. So the other foot game includes all those provisions, but it also includes an extra provision whereby the players have to do all soloing and kicking with the other foot, that is their non-dominant foot.
Yeah, it's got much stronger because I'm using it much more, so it's getting quite easier, and I can take scores with my left foot as well. Say if I was like that and there's someone right there, they could easily block me, and I'd be doing that throughout the game, but now I can easily just kind of get it straight to my left foot, so I can kick it just as far. Like sometimes I might have hit the ball just at the side because I wasn't that steady on it, but now I can kick it quite well with it.
They've played twice. The first day was the Dublin Louths Leinster first round at half-time that game, and the second demonstration was in the Dublin Armagh qualifier at half-time in that game. And each time the teams have been kitted out in the colours of the participating teams. And in relation to how to identify the other foot, my clubmate Willie Lillis had the idea that we would just wear odd socks. And this, in fact, has turned out to be one of the key attractions of it for spectators, in that they're very curious about why are they wearing odd socks and what's this all about.
Because it's so easy to identify the child's weaker foot because of the sock they're wearing, every one of them, to a man, will always try to kick it with the weaker foot. The instinct would be to go with the stronger foot, but in fairness, they're adapted to it very, very easily.
I'm going to be wearing a Laois jersey today because I got picked to play for Laois with my team, so we get to keep the Laois jersey now.
It's fantastic to be able to see your son playing in Croke Park in front of such a big crowd. Mark is a very strong character, and the big occasion doesn't seem to bother him, so he'll be fine. We don't have to be nervous. If he's not nervous, we won't be nervous.
The reaction's been phenomenal. We've never had a reaction anything like it to anything we've done with children here in the last 30 years. The fact that we've put it on 3 times in Croke Park speaks for itself. We've had a huge reaction from the crowd, the children have loved it, and club people and people involved in coaching have really sat up and watched this.
They looked so natural, kicking with their weak foot, that people thought it was their strong foot. And this was achieved with literally about 6 weeks of preparation. So it's a fundamental demonstration of what can be achieved through using a little bit of imagination and trying to compel players to perform the skills as opposed to just winning the game.
It's 5-all, and I scored a goal, so I'm happy. I think it's good because we all got a chance to play in Croke Park. Like, some people have never played there, and they got to play there, and it introduces your other foot to the game.
capacity crowded Croke Park.
14 years ago, Gregory O'Kane's brother Gary played on the last Antrim team to contest an All-Ireland final. Gregory hasn't been so lucky, not yet.
Gary was on the All-Ireland team in '89, and he was quite young. He was only 18 or something like that there. And you know, before that there was a few Dunne players represented Antrim at different levels, but never really, you know, at that level. And I suppose Gary was one of the first when everybody talks about Dunne players playing for Antrim. He sort of broke that mould.
And the goal! Another one!
Too hot for Kelly, chance for Antrim. Gregory O'Kane, not going to miss from there. And you can see that's Dunne Cahill. You got a shot of him there behind.
I came on the panel, I suppose, in the early 90s, which was a good time, because Antrim had just come off the back of an All-Ireland, been in an All-Ireland '89, and then they progressed on 90 and 91, and probably should have went to another All-Ireland, because they had Kilkenny beat one day and sort of let it slip in the last few minutes. And when I came on the scene, things were going pretty well.
To Gregory O'Kane now. O'Kane getting away from Enright and putting it over the bar. That's a very good point.
Obviously, you know, a lot of that 1990 team fell off, and Jim Nelson then getting up the post of our manager and coach. And I honestly think that Antrim never replaced Jim Nelson, you know, and they didn't capitalise on those early years. We maybe didn't do enough, because you know, it shows now when we've got Dunne Cahill in and tremendous progress he's made, you know, and he's only in the job something like a year and a half and something like that there, and you know, we run all at Tipperary last year, the All-Ireland champions. There's not a lot of coaches prepared to put in the effort that Dunne's putting in. Like, he's travelling up 2 and 3 times a week, and he's staying up and he's taking the sessions at the weekend, and he's putting in tremendous effort, you know, to the hurling. Antrim's very young at the minute, and they are rebuilding, and they're going the right road under Dunne. But I just feel, you know, maybe Derry's dropped off the pace a wee bit, and Down is rebuilding, and they just seem to be maybe a couple of years behind Antrim at the minute. Ulster teams, all they have to do is play among themselves, but they need strong opposition, and they need those games week in and week out. And geography does play a big part, because we're so far north. And if we want games, then you have to go away, and you're travelling away for the weekend. We hadn't won a senior championship in the history of the club. We'd won 6 football titles, and then come along 90, we won our first county championship, and then Glenmore beat us in the club championship in the semi-final. And I suppose we've got a taste for it, but we didn't get back to that stage for about 4 years, I think it was, and then we got to All-Ireland club final in '94, and Burr beat us then in an All-Ireland final after replay, and then 6 Mile Bridge beat us the following year, and then we got to another final then this year, but sorry, we lost again. Well, we weren't feared of Burr, you know, we respect them, they're a class side, but we just felt on the day that we just didn't seem to get off the ground, and people are probably saying, how did Dunne get to an All-Ireland final? But we just didn't perform on the day, and it was one of them things that just everything seemed to go wrong for us. Glens is a beautiful part of Ireland, and I suppose when you come down here and even this year for training, it gets you going.
Next week on Breaking Ball, one of the